Hey, this is Penny Perez. I teach English 9 honors and English 10. And I wanted to show you a tool that I have been using, our team has been using, and has been so helpful to engage not only the students in your classroom, but also the students at home. And it is quick and easy to set up, I promise. I'm going to show you some of the basic features and some ideas of how to use it, and also how to share it with your students. So Padlet is, I want you to think of it as like a giant bulletin board. And you may be thinking of like another social media company that's also a bulletin board, but this is ideal for academics because it does not have any ads and it's not trying to target our students for ads. Everything is like a private bulletin board. It's not shared on the larger social media network. So you're probably asking yourself, okay, cool, bulletin board. Why do I need to learn another tech tool? Yes, we have a lot of tech tools and it can feel overwhelming. But since students are at home and in our classroom, we need to find some small ways to level the playing field when it comes to learning. And this is a way that students, both in the classroom and at home, can work together. So by the end of this presentation, you should be able to create a Padlet and change its settings. You will be able to share a Padlet with a class and also learn how to embed a Padlet within your Canvas. And you'll have a few ideas of how to use Padlet in your classroom. So the first things first, we have to open Padlet. We actually have a school subscription, which is fantastic. So head to ClassLink and search for Padlet. If you don't see it, you can click the plus button in the upper left-hand corner to access the app library. Then you'll click on the teacher app library and search for Padlet and add it to your ClassLink dashboard. So because we have unlimited access, that means that you can have more than 5 Padlets, which is the free version, and you won't have to necessarily reuse them. So I want you to think of the Padlet, like I said, as a bulletin board where almost anything can be pinned to the Padlet. So you can pin links there, videos, photos, voice recordings, photos that you find on the internet, photos that you take on your device, videos you take on your device. Really anything can be pinned to the Padlet. You can also change the background and the title and the layout of the Padlet at any time to suit your needs. And you can change the privacy settings to make it work best for your class. So for example, maybe you want students to collaborate on a Padlet, or maybe you have produced a Padlet that is strictly just information for your students to use and you don't want them to change it. You can change the privacy settings. So when you click Make a New Padlet, this is the first thing you're going to see. It's going to ask you what kind of layout you want. Play around with this. I have used the canvas layout, the shelf layout, and the timeline layout, but I am really curious about the back channel layout. I haven't tried that yet. All of these are fantastic. They have lots of tools. They all work the same essentially once you get it started, as far as like the capability. But just depending on what you need your class to be able to do, you can choose the correct layout, and then you can change it once you choose it. So once you create it, you can change your settings by clicking the cogwheel in the upper right-hand corner. You can give it a unique title. You can give a prompt or instructions. This was a question generation thing that we did in my 10th grade class. So this is the prompt, Modern American Dream. They had to come up with questions about it. You can give it a visual icon to kind of delineate between Padlets. You can personalize your Padlet link. You can change the wallpaper, the color scheme, and the font. And then when students are posting on it, you can require that their name is shown above each post, or if you want them to remain anonymous because you think you'll get better answers that way, it'll just pop as anonymous. You can allow them to comment on other posts if you'd like, or give them like a thumbs up or a star. You can require filtering, like require approval before a post goes on the Padlet if you are concerned about what students may post. You can also turn on the profanity filter that will replace bad words with nice emojis. Luckily, I haven't had that happen, but I think it would be interesting to see. So here's an example of a Padlet that we did in my 9th grade class right before Christmas, where all of my students collaborated to collect evidence for a paper that they were going to write that included all of the books we had read in first semester. And we split them up by philosophers. And so they color coded them. You see that they've got, these quotes from all these texts. You see over on the right-hand side, a student actually linked to the entire Hound of the Baskervilles. You see that I've got a Christmas theme background going on there. And so this was a lot of fun, and it was super useful for my students. They really enjoyed having this as something that they could reference when they were writing. So now that you've created a Padlet, how do you share it? So the first step is to click share in the upper right-hand corner. Once you do that, this is the screen you're going to see. It will always start off as a private Padlet until you change the privacy settings. And there are a couple of different settings that you can have. You can keep it private, so even if someone has the link, they won't be able to access it. You can keep it hidden from the public, but you can have a password to access it. Or you can keep it secret and only people who have the link will be able to see it without a password, or you can make it organization-wide so everyone from Highland can see it. That's what I choose when I want all of my students to be able to access it, just because I think it's a little easier to do it that way. And then once you choose a privacy setting, you can choose what they can do on the Padlet. So if you just want your students to be able to see something and not necessarily change anything, then just stay on read. They can write posts but not delete posts. They can write their posts and delete others. Or if you have a teacher's assistant or something like that, you can make them an administrator. So when you are going to share your post, there are a few ways you can do that. You can copy a link to your clipboard and send out the link, via email or on Canvas. If you love QR codes, you can create a QR code for your Padlet, which a lot of people really enjoy. You can also embed your Padlet in your Canvas LMS. So if you are wanting this option, you click the embed in your blog or website, you copy all of that code, and you head to your Canvas page, and at the bottom there's an HTML editor. It looks like 2 triangles. You click that, you paste it here, and then it is embedded in your Canvas page. That way your kids don't ever have to leave Canvas if you don't want them to. It also works well on any device. So you may be thinking, well, I don't have a MacBook, or my kids don't have an iPad or whatever. It doesn't really matter. It works well on any device pretty seamlessly, on phones, on iPads, on computers. It all pretty much works the same way. So now here's the fun part. This is all the ideas for using Padlet. So you can use it for exit tickets. It's a great thing for exit tickets. Question generation, a class scrapbook. We did that for 9th grade when we left for quarantine. We collected all the photos we'd taken over the year and kind of had a little memory thing, and then they kept adding photos to our scrapbook. You could use it as a student portfolio, use it for a book club, as a research hub, for current events and brainstorming, or an online discussion. The discussion is what I've actually been using this for quite a bit. My digital campus students are timid to talk out loud online in the classroom, but they seem to be more willing to do so in the Padlet form. So here are some examples from teachers on campus. This is Lauren Oliva's Cause and Effect Padlet, where she had her students organize and connect what was the cause and effect of migration. This is from Stacy. This is her economics class, trying to come up with the reasons why there was a coffee shortage, and I just love the background. This is also Stacy's. They were studying a particular court case, and so you see that she has tried to use as many of the tools as possible, including a voice recorder. This is Amanda Jones, her reading list that she shares with her students. So she shares what she's reading, and she also asks for some recommendations. And this is her like class memories. This is also a form of her scrapbook. So she takes photos while students are working and posts it on the Padlet for them to reminisce and enjoy. This was a group project that my students did with, they had to reorder and put in the correct order quotes from a novel. So you see that they started typing page numbers at the bottom to get them right, but this was the timeline layout. And then here are some examples of students using Padlet. So this was from an assignment, I think from a lower school student, where they had to interview their hero. And so this is how the student chose to show their work. And here's one from the Chinese class, which is so cool. They had to, it looks like they had to identify Kung Fu moves, and then they have photos of themselves doing the Kung Fu moves, which I just love. So if you are excited about Padlet as I am, here are some resources to get you started. Padlet.com/support has a bunch of Padlets with a bunch of ideas and how-tos, and you can also email tech help if you have any questions. I hope this gives you some ideas and gets you excited to use Padlet.